A very warm welcome to all. A very good afternoon to all our guests joining in from the UK. A very good evening to all our guests joining in from India and South Asia. And a very good morning to all our guests joining in from the US and South America. Today is the 11th seminar in the second edition of this seminar series on the digital future for business and society, emerging perspectives on AI, blockchain, and IoT. This seminar series has been hosted jointly by Professor Yogesh Dwivedi, who is a professor of digital marketing and innovation, founding director of the Emerging Markets Research Centre, and co-director of research, School of Management, Swansea, Wales, Swansea University, Wales, UK. He's away in Dublin for chairing a conference, and hence he is not in a position to be with us here today. He's conveyed his apologies for the same. Our co-host for the seminar series is Professor Ramakrishnan Raman, Director SIBM Pune, Dean Faculty of Management, Symbiosis International University, and Director of Strategy and Development, Symbiosis. Dr. Raman is also busy with a series of meetings, and hence he's also unable to join in today. He's conveyed his apologies as well. This entire seminar series is jointly supported by Center for Technology, Innovation, Management and Enterprise, TIME, the University of Kent, UK, Digital Marketing and Analytics SIG, Academy of Marketing, Grenoble IAE-Graduate School of Management, a Grenoble INP School of the University of Grenoble, Alpes, the E-Business and E-Government SIG, British Academy of Management, and the UK Academy for Information Systems, UKAIS. To tell you something about the seminar series itself, emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, and Internet of Things undoubtedly offer a transformative potential for the augmentation and potential replacement of human tasks and activities within a wide range of industrial, intellectual, and social applications. This pace of change for this new AI technological age is staggering, with new breakthroughs in algorithmic machine learning and autonomous decision making, coupled with developments related to blockchain and IoT, engendering new opportunities for continued innovation. The impact of AI and other emerging technologies could be significant, with industries and sectors ranging from agriculture, finance, healthcare, manufacturing, retail, supply chain, logistics, and utilities, all potentially being disrupted by the onset of these technologies. The seminar series on the digital future of business and society, emerging perspectives on AI, blockchain, and IoT, will present various perspectives from a number of leading expert speakers to highlight the opportunities and challenges posed by the rapid emergence of these transformative technologies. Today, we have with us one such eminent thought leader, Dr. Anne Reddy-Pogu, research and development professional and an expert in artificial intelligence. She would share her thoughts with us on the area of intelligent products for Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and beyond. To tell you something about our speaker, Dr. Anne Reddy-Pogu is a multidisciplinary research and development professional with experience in artificial intelligence, information systems, and mechanical engineering. She has worked in industry and academia, where she has developed innovative solutions and strategies in technical advancements, business operations, and education. Anne's international contribution to science, engineering, and technology include being a technical program committee member, advisor, and reviewer on World Congress on Engineering, WCE, Journal, Ocean Engineering, EURESIP Journal on Applied Signal Processing, Journal, Neuroscience Letters, ICTAC Journal on Image and Video Processing, International Conference on Innovative Methods for Intrusion Prevention and Detection Systems, iCentric, International Conference on Advances on Human-Oriented and Personalized Mechanisms, Technologies and Services, International Journal on Advances in Intelligent Systems. Dr. Reddy-Pogu was first introduced to AI 27 years ago. She is one of the few researchers who study animals' brains to gain insights into the concept of intelligence. Anne's interest in artificial intelligence not only involves applications of AI in various fields, but also in developing new AI techniques. She studied the Toad's visual system and brain to develop new methods in artificial neural networks and genetic algorithms, and is keen on bridging the gap in AI skills and promoting intelligent applications in Industry 4.0. Dr. Anne Redipo, has also been supporting women in STEM subjects and encourages female entrepreneurs to support the community by leading the way through their enterprise initiatives. One of our missions is to strengthen the network of opportunities made available to female startup founders. Dr. Anne also jokingly says that her name, Anne, stands for Artificial Neural Networks itself. Well, I must say that is nothing but short of the truth. Dr. Anne, welcome and thank you very much for sparing your time and knowledge with us. We are very happy to have you with us here today. Over to you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Santosh, for a very warm welcome. And welcome to everyone who's joining us today from around the world. Hope we have a lot of fun today going through what is quite a difficult topic. It may seem simple at first sight, just, you think, okay, just a list of all the products and so on. But it's actually a little bit more complicated than that. And I've been thinking and battling with a lot of thoughts over the past few months and years. And it's a good chance to kind of share my thoughts with you today. So let's just get started. I'll share my screen with you. Okay. Okay, I've called this talk Predicting Life in 2042. Why 2042 in particular? Well, I'm an engineer and a scientist, and I don't like to be vague with numbers. So I thought, let's try and pick a number, a date, which is something that we can all conceive of, something we can all imagine, something that we can see our kids in the future in 20 years' time. We've seen the past 20 years, many of us, and perhaps we can imagine the next 20 years as well going forward. And this is also very apt for the generations we'll be talking about as well. As I said, I love AI. AI is a lot of fun. And today we're going to have a lot of fun, no matter how difficult a topic this is. So let's just start with a bang and get excited about the talk. It's kind of frozen, I think. Just 1 second. Real bang there. I told you we're going to have fun, so let's start with some fun. Okay, before we start, let's remember a few rules to this talk or this party. First of all, let us remember that none of us are prophets. We are going to do our best in speculating what the future is going to be like, what the products are going to be like, and imagine a world for our kids. But we are not prophets here, and we are not claiming anything. The second point is, let's look back to look forward. It's very important to actually look back so we can actually see the mistakes that have happened and also the benefits that we have reaped through previous innovations and businesses and products, so that we can leap forward and look to the future. And also, let's respect the future generations. I know we all think that we are better than them. They're a lazy lot. They don't do anything. Their to-do list consists of do nothing. But let's just give them the benefit of the doubt as we go ahead with this talk. And let's have an open mind in imagining another world, because we really have to imagine another world. It is not going to be easy to separate ourselves from the current state we are in, where we are, and really remove ourselves and put ourselves in the future generation's shoes. And most important of all, let's have fun and let our imagination run wild. And you do need to have a real wild imagination to leap into the future and 20 years into the future. Many of us are probably going to be very old by then, but you know, at least we'll be seeing our kids in this world. Okay, this is our world. It's a wonderful world. We have created all the inventions, all the technology, all the progress. We have, you know, launched a man to the moon. We have, you know, invented cars, and we have flown between countries. It's a world that we have created ourselves. And can we imagine creating a world, an AI world too, for our kids? Let's go through that journey. But let's look at some of the world we have created. And let's start with the basics. So the most important thing, people. Here you have worker bees working. And the people are both the consumers and producers of these products. And so it's important to understand that the people we're going to talk about here are the future generation, Generation Z, Alpha, and beyond. We will come to the generations in a minute, but before that, I want you to really kind of dissect the whole scenario into these individual components. So what's important, the most important thing, what we're doing, for what we have been doing all these years, the progress is for the people. So the consumers of these products are going to be the next generation, that the producers also may be the next generation as well. The next thing is the process of producing these products. So from source to the final destination and the entire supply chain. Now the process is much more complicated, that spans and runs across different countries. It has, you know, enormous logistics involved. Who knew that we were so dependent on Russian oil? The news today is that, you know, we're running out of vegetable oil and cooking oil and things like that. So we span across the entire globe in actually generating many of these products, and actually as consumers as well, and reselling them to the rest of the world. And the next thing is the product itself. The product, however simple or however sophisticated it might be, is the most important thing. God knows in COVID how many gloves we actually used, how many millionaires were made out of just producing and selling gloves across the world, importing and exporting gloves, and so on. And the material used for the gloves, is that sustainable or not? You know, a simple product, but how many questions? Many questions. Now, we are going to be looking at intelligent products, some of them more complicated than others. And we will look at some of the applications as well of these products in the next generation's world. And of course, why we're doing all of this? For profit, for money, to make ourselves richer individually, as a community, as a country, and as a civilization. But is it working though? Let's see. I'm just going to play a short video of Apple products that we
Now to an
use every
extraordinary
day.
look inside the world of Apple, the company that makes those gadgets that millions of us love. Nightline anchor Bill Weir was granted exclusive access to a factory in China run by Apple's biggest supplier and brings us, this is a fascinating
It's really
report.
something. No one has seen exactly what goes on in there. For years, we've been asking the world's most valuable company for a glimpse inside. For years, they said no. But after serious allegations of forced overtime, underage labor, after explosions and chemicals killed and harmed workers over there, Apple's been taking increasing heat for the way they run their factories, especially the biggest supplier called Foxconn. And as pressure mounted, they invited not only us, but also the Fair Labor Association, a trade group, to audit Foxconn, publish the results. No matter how ugly, they said we could talk to anyone, go anywhere we wanted to. And here's a little sample of what we saw. It's all so stylish. The see-through stores, the pristine white packaging, touchscreens, all the more touchable since the company that makes them has been shrouded in tantalizing secrecy. Until now. I'm told this is the very first time any reporter from any country has been allowed to see this. We don dust-free bunny suits to watch a room filled with massive robots glide around with sheets of iPad glass. Wow, look at that. It's like a scene out of WALL-E. But these lines are the futuristic exception. And with Apple's reputation under fire, we're most interested in the people who build their complex gadgets, one tiny piece at a time. As a whole, it's an incredibly complex process, but look at the individuals and you see mostly teenagers from the countryside, 17, 18-year-olds far away from very poor homes. So this is home. They live in a dorm with 7 strangers, spend 6 days a week repeating the same task again and again. Fatigue and boredom are common in any factory, but this one is surrounded by suicide nets. They are everywhere. A horrifying reminder of 18 workers who jumped from the buildings here at Foxconn City in the past few years. The suicide rate in this massive company is lower than average in China, but after people jumped in such a sobering cluster, Foxconn opened a counseling center and raised starting wages about 25 cents an hour. I wonder, though, if it wasn't for the spate of suicides, did it take something that severe to make you rethink how you treated your workers here?
I think
So that's shocking. The most profitable country in the world, where its employees are committing suicide in China. Now, is all of that income that all the businesses are making in the world, making the world a better place? Is our economy doing better? Are we progressing as a civilization, as a human race? The latest news is there's a global crisis, there's a recession, the stocks are down. This is probably going to be worse than the 2008 recession. And business schools and business leaders are probably researching quite a lot into this right now. One of the things, the news this morning is that Pakistan asked its citizens to cut down drinking tea by 2 cups per day if possible, because they import quite a lot of tea and they're running out of money. They are in bad debt with their money. They actually import about $600 million worth of tea per year. I don't know exactly where they import from. There are probably multiple sources, but despite all of this, we seem to not be coping. No one seems to be happy. The rich are not happy. The poor are not happy. I just don't know who is happy, who's actually, enjoying life here. So how did we get here? How is that our economic system is just so complicated? I live in Scotland. Scotland is the birthplace of Adam Smith, who's considered father of economics. He died in 1790. So this was the economics of his time. Many, many layers were added on as years went past after that, of course. But a lot of the economics that we're dealing with today is way too cumbersome and too complicated. You will see as I go through the talk how Gen Z and Alpha and the younger generations probably would not be able to handle or want such a cumbersome economic system. Now, how did we end up with this economic system? The products dictated the economy and the economics of the land. Rudolf Steiner, who is a German polymath and a great thinker, in his lecture series on the world economy, mentioned something in July 1922, and I'm going to quote him, and I quote, "We must not forget that the whole of this English economic life was only possible on the basis originally given by England's relationship to her colonies, especially India. The whole of the English economic system is unthinkable without the relationship of England to India." So the economics and the economy that we talk about today, we learn today, was very much defined by the English economists at that time, who were defining economics based on colonial links, colonial trade, colonial businesses, and the way life was dealt at that time. Now, of course, the world is different, 200 years on, beyond, over 200 years. So is our economic system still fit? So what happened there, what the link I'm trying to bring out there is that the products dictated the economic system. And now the question is, can our intelligent products that we're going to develop transform or change the economic system for a better life for our future generations? This is an important question, an important link that we really have to try and understand and see if we can, make it, at least make an effort. There is a growing study. I would not want to call it activism or movement, because it should not be called that, called decolonizing economics. It has nothing to do with, bashing the West or anything like that. It is that this economic system is not working even for the West under current conditions in the modern world. So let's bear that in mind as we try and think of that central, as a central foundation, if you like, as we thinking of new products and how they relate to the entire system, the entire infrastructure, and the way of life itself. So we are going to go to the next generation. This generation, I'm going to work backwards a little bit. This generation is not yet born. This generation is considered a truly digital generation or a AI generation. These are the kids who are going to be born in 2025. Okay, so they're not born yet. At the moment, their age is -3. But in 10 years' time, they are going to, be older and be consumers already of intelligent toys, educational tools, and so on. And in 20 years' time, they will be joining the workforce as well. I have taken 2042 as a number, as I said before, because I want to look at 20 years from now in sections of 10. So 2032 and then 2042. It's really funny that Rudolf Steiner gave this talk in 1922, exactly 100 years ago, almost, we're almost in July now. So this is generation beta. So kids who are going to be born in 2025. Are we ready for these kids with intelligent systems, AI systems? Let's see, probably not. We haven't developed them yet that these kids can be exposed to intelligent products. So we have 3 years time to get things ready for them. The next generation I would like to talk about is generation Alpha. These are the kids born between 2010 to 2024. They are curious, they're confident, they are materially endowed, they are empowered. There will be about 2 billion of them. Oh, there are about 2, no, there will be, because it's 2024, so there's that 2 more years for more kids to arrive in this world. This generation are very savvy technologically. They know what they want to do. Their parents actually endow them with, they want the best for the parents want the best for the kids. And let's see what some of their views are on technology.
My name is Saul, and I'm like 7.5. I have like this math thing. It's called Zern. I do it on sometimes my phone and my PC. Most of the screen time I have is on my PC. I don't really like to watch movies, but I like to watch a lot of TV shows. I'm growing into like older ones, like ones about science. I watch 3 or 4 different shows on Netflix.
I have been playing video games since I was 3. I do enjoy playing video games, but it's more of an addiction.
I saw them on YouTube. I like to buy stuff I see on YouTube.
Sometimes advertisements on YouTube pop up. I don't think I've seen anything on the advertisements that was really worth getting.
What would you want to do for a job?
Play the adult games on Daddy's phone. I'm gonna be an airplane driver. A scientist.
When I grow up, I want to be a graphic novelist because I draw a lot. I prefer to draw normally on paper, but I prefer to make animations on a computer. I don't use my parents' phone because I kind of have my own. That's just for like games and stuff.
I would rather have an iPad better than a dog.
What pets do you have? Do you have a dog, Wilfred? So you try to have a conversation with them when they're on technology and it's just can't.
Okay, there were generation Alpha, and you see they're quite ambitious. They are really wanting to become pilots and graphic designers and scientists, and have an important role in society. So let's look at generation Z. They are the kids born between 1995 to 2010. These are main cohort who are now joining the workforce. And some of the important characteristics are mentioned here. They are very social network savvy, they're digital natives. They are ethical. They are the most ethical generation but they would not call themselves ethical. They just think, isn't that what we're supposed to do? Isn't that just normal? Why should we give a label such as ethical? It's just a basic human right. They are very much activists. They are not taking anything for an answer. They want to get to the bottom of the truth for everything. So they don't define themselves. So this as we've seen, there's gender fluidity or sexual fluidity with sexuality. There's no barriers. It's a truly communicable, and here they say radically inclusive. And to be honest, again, they wouldn't identify with this radical word, but we are the ones giving them the word that they are radically inclusive. They want to connect with people. They want to resolve conflict with dialogue rather than war and confrontation and things, even among friends, even when they at workplaces and so on. And they live life quite pragmatically. They're minimalists. They're not materialistic. They don't have credit cards. They don't have loans because many of them still live with their parents, and the parents support them. They don't have cars. Before, there used to be every person has a car in a family. Now these kids are more like, why would I need such a big thing and just me alone driving it? So there's many things about them that are quite different. So when we are developing products, if it is not useful for this generation, then they are not going to buy these. And if they are not ethical, if there's slavery involved in their supply chain, if they are not green, there's lots of questions there. If there's no gender equality and so on, there's many questions there that they are not willing to accept. So these are kids born, as I said, between 1995 and 2009. So they range between 27 years and 13 years. So in 10 years time, the 27-year-olds are going to become 37. And then in another 10 years, 47. And they will be the parents of the generations to come, the beta generation who are going to be born in 2025. So if this generation is just so questioning, so non-conforming, and not wanting to actually fit into this world, then they're going to create their own world. This is what happens. Each generation develops and innovates for their own generation because no one else seemed to understand them. But for the first time, probably, we can think of the generations ahead, understand what the problems we had before, and then build something for them that will aid them in going ahead instead of them having to find their own solutions. Now, as I said, I live in Scotland. Scotland not only is a father of economics born here, Adam Smith, it's also where the Industrial Revolution started. James Watt is a Scottish inventor who invented the steam engine. This is where all the root cause of pollution started in some ways, although Scotland is a very green and very unpolluted country compared to other countries. But, and hopefully, Scotland will be bring about the AI revolution as well, or perhaps a country like India can actually be the center of the AI revolution. And we need as many young people coming in, and especially business schools identifying that some of these words and some of these business speak that we talk about actually has colonial roots and colonial implications and colonial products and trading systems that were involved that we have been carrying on through several hundred years now. So, for example, something called risk. Is your business risky? If it's risky, then there's more value in it. What is your competitive edge? Who are your competitors? This sort of speak is just normal. What are your financial projections? What are your year-on-year projections in 2 years' time, 3 years' time? Does it have scalability? These sort of things seem to be quite the norm. But let's take one word, risk. Where did it come from? It came because of all the trades that used to come from India in ships, for example, and pirates and other, competitors, other countrymen from other countries would try and seize these goods and sell them for themselves and make money for themselves. And the other thing is, these ships could even drown because of natural disasters. And so it was quite literally risky to bring these products across to these shores. So we then adapted that risk in other ways as we went along, when there are no more pirates stealing things or ships drowning in the ocean and things coming all the way only from India or anything like that. But we have adapted that word. Are these terms still relevant in this age for the next generation? Is a question we have to ask ourselves as we go forward. So let's see how some of these things can be researched, looked at. I mean, I'm not saying that these will change overnight, but just as products of those days define the economics of those days and the economy of those days, I think products that are going to come, the intelligent products that are going to come, can define the economics and the economies of the future. So let's have a look at some of these terms. So what do young people think of competition? I'm not sure they understand competition much. What they're after is cooperation. Young people are much more, they connect with each other online, they get into teams, they have social media campaigns, they can, get together, the activists, they become activists together and so on. Cooperation is a key word there. Now, I'll give you an example here about the education system. Why can't, for example, all the business schools in India, like every single one of them, or let's say all the business, if that's too much, let's say business schools in Maharashtra, this one state, why can't the curriculum be exactly the same? Why can't the standards be set exactly the same? Why should a business school compete with another business school? Isn't it better to pool the resources and make something even bigger and better and universal? And let's take medical education, for example. Why can't the same curriculum that's being taught in Oxford and Cambridge be taught in India or in China or in Afghanistan? Why can't we do that? This sort of like hoarding of knowledge and not sharing of knowledge, I don't think it's the next generation's scene in many ways. So we got to be, if we don't do it, they will do it. And are there tools that we can use? Are there AI tools that can be used to actually bring about this change? There are benefits to it, of course. So medical education, for example, if we take it, every country has its own medical education. Every country has its own licensing. If you have to move countries, it becomes quite difficult. You've got to sit for an exam in that country. And in a scenario like COVID, doctors could have moved around pretty easily, saving many lives across countries. Why should we make it harder? So the younger generations are more about efficiency. Efficiency is not just about costs and cutting costs, but it's more about removing the layers and layers of unnecessary complications within any system. So the next thing is also speed and attention. It is thought that we need things fast. So one of the things in intelligence systems is you can get an answer within seconds. You can do things instantly and quickly. The instant and quick thing were actually my generation, I think, and I'm Gen X, the older generations who wanted things very quick and fast and instant. This generation is more about taking their time to do things. Also, you find that many people actually say that this generation don't have enough attention span. They're easily distracted. It's very difficult to keep them interested in a subject or a topic. And I think that is also probably a myth and not quite right. These people take the time to just get one photo right. They can take a million selfies, correct them over and over and over again until they think, it's right. They spend hours trying to perfect TikTok videos, which will meet just a few seconds, but they want to get it right. But the preparation before that is enormous. So many of the products that people are wanting to develop, not literally keeping in mind the younger generations, but just generally in the world, what would we have is, okay, maybe we can make this faster. Maybe we can actually get the diagnosis quicker. Whereas the doctor would take a week and the machine can probably do it within seconds. This is probably not what the younger generation wants. So it's very important to actually see where we are actually investing our ideas and innovative thoughts and obviously money before they go down the drain. As soon as they're a bit old enough, they'll just dump the products that we're spending so much money building. And profit for this generation is more than money. So profit is also about how green your product is. And when I say that, the current generations think, okay, our carbon footprint has to be small. We should not pollute the world. But that's not what it is. It's actually beyond even that. It's actually what is the contribution to the green economy, to the entire ecosystem. How does your product in some way contribute to it? Not minimize the carbon footprint, not minimize the ill effects of it. The second thing that we would think about is gender equality. When we say gender equality, the first thing people think about is like have equal numbers of men and women and equal participation at board level and every level and so on. But this isn't about that. It is more about how does it contribute to gender equality in the community, in the world. So there are many aspects within profit that one can actually consider. And these are just a couple of them, but based on the product and what we're developing, you can actually have quite a few categories in there. So rather than have financial projections, you would have what is called profit projections. And the profit should include more than money. And the investment should go in only if the profit projections actually show that there's more profit than just money. I mean, of course, money is important. Nobody's going to undermine money. We all will make money and there'll be plenty to go around. But that shouldn't be it shouldn't be only about what are your financial projections. What is that program called on TV, Dragon's Den? And I think there's a version in India as well, where everyone go and pitch their business ideas and so on. And then they go, oh, okay, what are your projections? And then what is the price you're going to have? And things like that.
It's Shark Tank in there.
So the next one is the side effects of products. For something like medicines, we always have side effects written. It's for all medical products, we have side effects written, both short-term and long-term. Why don't we have side effects of other products? Did we have the side effects of the steam engine or the car or, I don't know, cement factories, lead factories, and so on? We didn't. But now the next generation are wanting to know what will happen because of this product. One of the big side effects of AI is data pollution. everyone says data is valuable. We have a lot of data and, hoard data, store data in the clouds. I think the cloud, heaven and hell, are full of all data of my cats and dogs and a million selfies of me. But when I say data pollution, it's just not storing the data. For AI systems to use this, it takes enormous processing. The servers are actually using up a lot of energy, which is not necessarily green energy, to just hold your data. I mean, it's just one person, me alone, for developing this presentation might have gone through 3 or 4 different versions of this presentation. Imagine a bigger organization, the number of documents, the number of digital documents they produce. Is there an end to this? Probably not. And it's actually probably causing more climate disaster than just greenhouse gases from cars. Now, where are we at in 2022 with all these products? We have, when we say AI, we talk about early diagnosis of cancers, we talk about prediction of election results or something like that. We talk about automation, we talk about fast, we talk about cutting costs and increasing profits. But I think there's more to AI than just this. So what do our younger generations see and what are they going through? This is the education system right now through COVID. It was probably the most boring time anybody could actually have. Nobody was learning anything and it was very, very hard. This is the education system right now. The next thing that our young people are probably seeing is also in terms of healthcare. I'm choosing these applications because education and health are 2 of the most universal things that everyone understands. All of us use and everyone has gone through, especially during COVID. It's not helping anyone. So are there intelligent tools that we can use to make these systems better? Yes, there are, and there are many things we can do. Of course, there are many other applications, and those of you who would like to talk about other applications and go through them individually, I'd be happy to go through them. It's just that in this talk, we don't have the time and the scope. But many of these, tools, AI methods that we're going to use or build are not just have to be adaptable, have to be flexible. They should cater to existing generations and also the generations that are going to come up. This little girl in the corner is probably thinking, why can I not do this online? He's just asking me a bunch of questions. Can I not enter them online just as I would enter somewhere else? Instead of actually going for really difficult problems, there are many, many simple problems AI can actually solve. AI is an exciting methodology, technique, field of science. And we need to make it exciting for younger people. So let's actually look for solutions. The solutions are probably not too far away and the solutions are not too complicated, perhaps. And it's not an enormous puzzle that we cannot solve. It just takes a few individuals and a willingness to actually find a solution and fight for a solution. This is just an example, but you can actually go through several areas within the medical fields that are, again, let's continue to use the word universal. That means that no matter where they go within the country or outside the country, if people can use it universally, it will be very useful for future generations. We can make education fun as well. And here, although the kids are learning on their own, they seem to be completely immersed in their study and seem to completely have fun with some of the AI tools that they're actually using here. So we need to make possible the AI-human interaction, make it an everyday occurrence, and seriously have fun with the AI. I don't want to limit all the fun to myself. I just want the rest of the world to have as much fun with AI as I do. And this is an important subject. We've started off with products, we started off with our world, we are ending up with the next generation. And to be honest, it is literally true that the next generation's future is in our hands. Do we want systems and models that have served us for the past 300 years to be inherited by the next generation? Probably not. So let's actually and set goals and plans in place for 2042 and take the agenda forward to develop a really cool planet for our future generations. And it is totally possible to do that. And thank you all for listening. It's a complicated subject, but I hope we see the importance of how the products can actually dictate our systems and models that we currently have in place in various sectors, no matter what sector it is. So thank you guys for listening. And we'll end with some fun.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ann, for this wonderful and eye-opening talk. I guess what started happening with the movement from Gen Z to Gen Alpha is that people have started becoming more conscious of the damages that each generation is doing to the ecology and environment. Thank you for showing us ways and paths through which AI can be used to make this journey far more fulfilling and leave this world a better place than probably what we inherited it into. So we've got a comment from Dr. Prabodh Mistry, who's appreciating this talk as well. And thank you. And he would be in touch. Participants, if there are any questions, you may please post it on the chat box.
While they post it,
yes.
This is an invitation to all young people, no matter what field they are in, to start thinking about intelligent products in a way that isn't a bandage on some problem they see right now, and how it's not just the impact of that intelligent product, but how it can transform an entire system, whether it's a small step at a time or a huge leap. It can be transformational. And my hope is that just as the Industrial Revolution shaped our economic thinking, our business thinking, how we do trade and other things, I just think that this is quite a crucial time in our world where I think we will be entering the AI revolution. So there are some people who think, oh, well, this AI thing is not going to happen until 100 years or some other time. And that's exactly why I chose 2042, a very specific time, which is so weird to actually think about. But hey, we have to start somewhere, right? So let's do that.
Absolutely. So thank you, Dr. Ann. I would actually want to, I wouldn't know if this is probably a silly thought or something worthwhile enough to be answered, but this has been something that has been gnawing me for some time now. So all over the world, so I hail from the world of finance, and I see there's a huge impact that every industry has, especially now that they're waking up to this newly coined term called ESG, environment, social, and governance scores that companies need to maintain, also as a part of their compliance requirements, and more so with the ability to portray their presence in the activity of giving back to society. So the question is this: do companies foresee a large part of their cost structures going forward? Even though AI is there, does it still stay on top, or does AI help to bring cost structures down? Or how would companies be able to manage? Because right now the perception towards AI and ESG as well is that these are all additional layers of cost, and I'll try and keep them away as far as possible. So
yes, I totally understand the additional layers of regulation and additional layers of costs. But AI, me personally, I would just not run into all these new jargon of what businesses need to have, another tick box exercise, which really, to be honest, if anyone has followed the talk, would not serve next generation at all. And even in current generations, you have questions. The millennials and the Generation X are questioning, why do we even need that? Do we need that? But we still do it as if it's like, I don't know, a word from God or something, and we have to keep following that, and everyone else is doing it and we'll be left behind. I think this is the age where if everyone else is doing it, definitely don't follow it. Do something opposite completely. Go the other direction. That's with the business side. But with the AI, I would definitely 100% recommend putting in the AI strategy right from the start. And also be very careful. I mean, get that business strategy right, because you could make a huge mistake and end up spending billions of pounds or dollars or whatever on the wrong product, the wrong process, and the wrong cost-cutting efficiency measures that you may take. That it'll be quite difficult to get out of it. So the bigger problem is getting that AI strategy right. And unfortunately, there are not that many people in the world who can although there are consultancies who are doing that, even the consultants that they're sending are not quite trained both in business and AI to get it right. So many things. I was actually thinking, if I was a much younger person, I probably could not see the generational differences in terms of what a 27-year-old in 10 years' time as a 37-year-old do as a person. Although I may see other 37-year-olds, it's because I've been through that myself that it becomes easier to actually understand that journey much better. I think it's the same thing, that we don't have professionals, individuals who actually can understand it from both perspectives, from the business side and the AI technical side as well. And there's many things, like, I don't know, there's another talk I gave recently with quite a few examples there, where the thing about data in the clouds, it's a simple thing. We all know there's a lot of data ending up in the cloud, but we don't see that for some reason because it's hidden. No one talks about it. And until it becomes a really large issue, we will never be able to see it. So as a business school, I think for younger students in your departments and any research being carried out, I would say don't cut back on the AI, but be very careful again where you are investing in the AI zone, because as I said, it could be a money pit and you would not get any results out. Google has failed many times with many of the AI products. It's continuing to fail. Some of the failures have been reported in 2021 and 2019, as recent as 2019. Facebook as well is struggling with AI products. They're not getting any AI products out, and same with Amazon as well. Now, I'm saying all these big companies are really struggling with AI, but I'm saying there is a huge future for AI and we should invest in AI. And it's because these big companies are going after the big fish and big problems and difficult problems, such as natural language processing. They want to process the entire language system and for everyone to understand everybody and for us to have a conversation with AI. And that's a difficult task. And many of the things we do in companies are not that huge. We're not trying to get a huge AI system in.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that input, Dr. Ram. What you said is absolutely true. And we do have another question coming in from Sirish, who's asking, as the world becomes more and more involved with evolved technologies over time, especially the younger generation, how could AI prevent the existing medical implications such as screen time addiction, early onset of myopia, and such?
Again, it's the technology development in the sense that, if companies like Apple who are developing some of these products, instead of actually, I don't know what they do with all their profits, they don't even have to pay people properly. If they invest some research and actually make sure that our devices don't actually harm us as much, I don't see any problem in actually, and not everything needs to be on the phone. That's another thing that seems to bug me quite a bit. I've kind of shunned my phone. I'm doing most of my work on the laptop, which is much better for my eyes. My eyesight improved since then actually as well. Then one other thing about things like Apple are that they release a new product every 2 years, for example. It's somehow we have to upgrade our phones every 2 years. Why should I upgrade? What happens to all the e-waste? Perhaps instead of actually developing a new product a new iPhone every 2 years, but just a slight change in the camera, or just saying the battery will last longer. Nobody checks if the battery lasts longer. Nobody has actually tested it out to check if the battery lasts longer, but they just say that as a marketing tool. Maybe they can invest in these advances, and we have to. And it is a really important question because our devices are going to be much more of an electronic age, computerized IT age, and at the extent that we may have even chips under our skin. That would be talking to each other. We will be silicon humans, if you like, with chips under our skin, taking our blood pressure and other things. So for Fitbits, they're over our skin. Next thing is we could actually have them inserted under our skin. And of course, for all of these purposes, the investment should not be in cloud or anything like that. It should be quite rightly in making these devices less harmful for human beings.
Very true. So in fact, the other, about last month, I guess, I read an article about a person who's paraplegic. He doesn't have his limbs, he cannot type. But then he can think and he's still living. So he's got subcutaneous insertions of chipsets in his brain. And he, in fact, tweeted his first tweet to the world. And I'm sure that made headlines across as well. So no hands, no legs, unable to talk, but think, and which he could. And he posted, "Hi, hello world." And he did mention that. So fantastic thoughts that you just shared with us. I guess the way to go is to make products that are more intelligent and not harmful, and probably do not invent if not necessary. Right? And reuse those profits to give back to society, so that there exists a world, and which we are proud of in leaving behind. So, wonderful thoughts that you shared with us, Dr. Ram. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for sharing your research with us. Thank you for sharing your talk. and a wonderful talk indeed. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you, Dr. Ann, once again. And thank you all of you, and have a great day ahead. Take care.
Thank you all. Thank you. Bye now.